What's up, guys? It's Spazz, and this is gonna be the first story I tell on this channel. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so this story is gonna start when I was in kindergarten when this happened, and by the time you can tell what it's about, I broke my best friend's arm. He doesn't really blame me for it because he still did it, but I basically just peer pressured him into it as a kindergartner. Yeah, just starting early, you know how it is. And so let's start out from the beginning. And right after lunch, we have recess. That's how my school worked anyway. It was like a 30-minute recess because it's elementary school. I mean, what else are you going to do? Give kids some crayons and draw on some walls? Like, there's nothing else to do. So they gave us a 30-minute recess instead of 20 like it is now. So my friend and I decided at lunch that we're going to try this thing out that was on the... it was one of the things on the park, I guess I'll call it. And we've never tried it before, I don't think. Oh my, that was a triple collat. That was a triple collat. It was like this weird swinging wheel, like you would jump off and you'd grab on like it was a monkey bar, but it would swing you around in a circle. It was actually really fun, but my friend was kind of scared to go on it. Now this is where I started being the persuading peer pressure kid. And of course I had no intention of what happens happening. Of course not, I mean he was my best friend, but like, I just wanted to try it. He almost did it, and then he just stopped himself, took a step back, and then he's like, no, I'm not doing this. There's no way. I told him he'd be fine, and it would, like, he wouldn't get hurt or anything, and this is where the part comes in. I'm sure he wouldn't have been hurt if I didn't do what I did. I'm a complete idiot. Like, my friend already doesn't want to do it, he's scared to do it, and I go ahead and decide to do this. It's been like 10 minutes. He's wasting my recess time at this point. I just wanted him to try this thing. But he would not try it. So I was getting fed up. And once he was almost about to do it, I'm pretty sure he was going to do it anyway. Once he was almost about to do it, I shove him in the back, forcing him to like jump off. He like hits his wrist. He hits the wheel, like the wheel thing. He hits it on his wrist. And he just biffs it, like he has no balance, because he didn't expect me to push him, obviously. But yeah, I was stupid and decided to push my friend, and he hit the wheel thing on his wrist, and he had no, like, there's no recovery from that. Like, he was just done. And all I see, like, I'm behind him at this point, and I just see him fall onto a bunch of wood chips, and his arm got stuck underneath him. And he's in kindergarten, so I didn't even hear anything. And then, like, 3 seconds later, he hasn't moved yet, and I'm like, I called for his name. I'm like, you alright? And then I just hear like that kindergartner toddler scream, like crying scream, and I'm just like, oh no. And then he stands up and just holds his arm and looks at it and starts screaming. And then the teacher comes over, and then she's like, that's not good. And so he goes inside, and then at the end of the day, I go over to his house, and then I ring the doorbell, because we live like pretty close to each other. His mom answered the door, and she gave me like this weird look, and I was like, home? She's like, yeah, he is. Did you come to see him? I'm like, yeah. I was so confused. I'm like, yeah, I came to see him. Why else would I come to your house? I didn't say that though, but that's what I was thinking. Like, why else would I go to your house than not see my best friend? I knew something was wrong with him, but I thought he just got like scraped up and went to the nurse. I mean, he's a kindergartner, and we just get like scraped knees, and you get a band-aid and you live on. And I thought he just got like a messed up something, not a broken arm. But yep, I walk in, his arm's in a cast, and I'm like, oh, hey. And I was actually kind of confused, because I still didn't think he like hurt his arm. And so I'm like, what happened? And he's like, do you remember at recess? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I felt really bad, because it was like, basically, it was all my fault. He didn't want to do it. I convinced him for like 15 minutes, and then when he finally almost did it, I just shoved him into it, and he just biffed it, snapped his arm in half. Like, it's been a long time since that happened, because I'm nowhere near kindergarten anymore, but I still feel bad. And he said it was fine, like, a year later. Like, he didn't hold a grudge against me or anything. It was just like, oh, good job, Nate, you're an idiot. What am I doing? What am I doing? Like, I just missed 17,000 shots. Like, I was in their spawn. I was in their spawn. They just all were pouring out of one area, and I couldn't do it. But yeah, that's basically the story of how I broke my best friend's arm in kindergarten. In yesterday's video, I think people enjoyed it, because it was kind of different from what I'm usually uploading. It was like a reaction, but not really. It was different. Like, I broke it down. It wasn't live. I liked doing it. It took longer, but it felt more rewarding to upload instead of just like cutting up some stuff. So I think I'm gonna put my channel heading in that direction more. Like, I'll still do these. Like I'm gonna do these stories now, because I have plenty of stories to tell. I think they're all pretty entertaining. Oh, and then another thing, I did get a new mic, which is why I had that like 2-week thing of no uploads. It was. Oh, no. It would have been a clean quad. I was the death that split it. I am very upset right now. Well, there's a feed. I mean, that kind of made up for it, but it was every single kill was split. What the heck? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more. Really means a lot to me. And yeah, it's been Spazz. Later.